Blog Talk Radio.
Out at foggy midfield, muddy midfield, although they've done a heck of a job getting the field ready, they just tossed.
Welcome to NBS Central's Startem Sitem show, hosted by True X, the sports junkie, and Jay Franchise, where we'll give our weekly fantasy sports predictions and analysis. Now, let's start the show.
Yeah, baby, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to the Startem Sitem show on MBS Radio. Of course, I'm your host, True X, the sports junkie. First real weekend of NFL football, and we're going to help you with your fantasy lineup. Of course, I got the homie in the building from San Jose. Keo, what up, homie? Do I have Keo in the building? Or is it just me? I'm rocking solo dolo right now. Well, I guess it's just me. I do apologize to everybody out there that I thought Keo was on with me, but we're going to rock regardless. So like I was saying, the first official weekend of the NFL season, and it's fantasy football time. If you know True X, the sports junkie, I love fantasy football. We have an incredibly competitive league in the Nothing But Sports League. 16 dudes that are just like sharks out there in the water trying to take everybody out. So I'm going to give y'all some advice today and let y'all know who you should be starting, who you should be sitting, who you should be, on the lookout for in the waiver wire. But we're going to start with the top 5 quarterbacks on today, on this first I apologize. First Sunday of the NFL season. And you have to look no further. Top 5 quarterbacks for this week. And I like coming in at number 5, Drew Brees. Now, granted, I know a lot of people may say, well, True, yeah, you're going to start Drew Brees no matter what. Well, not me. I am not high on Drew Brees this year. I think he's going to have some setbacks. But nonetheless, this Monday night, tomorrow night, I think he's going to have an extraordinary game because he's going up against the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson, and I think that's going to be a shootout. So I got Drew Brees coming in at number 5. I think he'll be good, but I think there's a lot more Alvin Kamara as far as the same offensive game plan. Coming in at number 4. This one may shock some people, but I'm talking Dak Prescott. I like Dak Prescott a lot this week against the New York Football Giants. He gets his main man, Ezekiel Elliott, back. He got Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper on the outside. Jason Witten in the middle back with the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott's going to make a statement early on, and he's going to do some great things in this game. Coming in number 3, I like Carson Wentz. Going up against the Redskins, I don't see the Redskins stopping Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is going to have a monster game, and people will start the notion where, okay, MVP candidate. I've heard it in the offseason. I think that we'll get some fake hype in this game because they're going to get the Redskins, and the Redskins are not that good. Coming in at number 2 for me, I got to be honest with y'all. This is a tough matchup, but I like the guy regardless of the situation. And I'm talking about Kirk Cousins against Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta has a really strong defense. I think that this is going to be another shootout game. But nonetheless, I think Matt Ryan, they have a better – Devontae Freeman have a better running game than Dalvin Cook. So therefore, Matt Ryan might not get the touchdown. But I do look for Kirk Cousins to have a really good game in this game. But coming at number 1 is on Monday Night Football. You got DeAndre Hopkins. You got Will Fuller. You got Duke Johnson. You got my man they just signed, Carlos Hyde. This offense is going to score just the same. I look for this game to be a shootout. Drew Brees comes in at number 5, but Deshaun Watson comes in at number 1 on my top 5 fantasy quarterbacks. I think I heard a voice in the background, so I want to know, do we have the homie Keo in the building? We don't have Keo in the building. Do we have Keo in the building? Okay, I guess we don't have Keo in the building. I heard it in the background, but I guess not. All right. Well.
Yeah.
We do have Keo.
I apologize for the tardiness.
It's all good, brother. You ready to give your top 5 quarterbacks for the day?
Top 5 quarterbacks for today. So we're less than an hour from kickoff. You excited?
Of course.
All right, my top 5 for today. Starting at number 5, I'm going with Phillip Rivers, man. Phillip Rivers against the Colts. I think this team is definitely hurt right now, especially with the Colts. And I expect the Colts to lose convincingly in this game. So I got him at number 5. Number 4, I'm rolling the guy that I picked as MVP, Carson Wentz at number 4. I like this matchup against the Redskins. I don't think the Redskins did much to improve as far as their team goes. I mean, maybe on the defensive side. So I got Wentz at number 4. Number 3, I actually like Matt Ryan at number 3 against the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is a favorable matchup, and I like what's going to happen. And for my top 2, they happen to play on the Monday night game. We actually have 2, but number 2, I'm rolling with Drew Brees because that offense addition to Jared Cook, I think it's going to be a great outcome for fantasy owner to have Brees. I actually have Brees. I actually traded to get Brees in a league that I was in. And number 1, I'm rolling with Deshaun Watson, man. Just, I don't know, man. I just have a feeling that this game is going to be a shootout, man. It's going to be Watson and Brees going toe-to-toe, back-to-back against each other. And I think it's going to be huge for people to have Deshaun Watson. I know you have Deshaun Watson in a 2-quarterback league. I don't need to explain the weapons that the Texans have. So I'll just leave it at that. And that actually rounds out my top 5 for quarterbacks for today.
Okay, let me say this. I wasn't in my office when I first started the show, and I was trying to think of my other quarterback, but I couldn't think of it because I actually had Kirk Cousins on the outside of my top 5. I actually had all those quarterbacks moved up a spot, and so my top 5 kind of changed a little bit, and I have Baker Mayfield at 5. I was tripping. I don't know what I was thinking, so I have
Baker Mayfield at 6 because the Titans are an underrated defense, man.
They are.
A lot of people expect, the Browns to walk through the Titans, but I think this is going to be a closer game than people think it would be.
I actually agree with that. I just think that the Titans might jump up on them a little bit, and then they'll come back, and I'll give Baker Mayfield some passing yards. So I do like Baker Mayfield at 5. I actually had Kirk Cousins at 6. So let me just redo mine real quick because I wasn't by my desk. But I had Baker Mayfield at 5. I had Dak Prescott at 3, because I wrote it all over the place on my thing. I had Carson Wentz at 2, Drew Brees at 4, and I had Deshaun Watson at 5. I mean at 1. I'm tripping. Okay, let me ask you this, Tio. Who's a sleeper that can play quarterback this week that you think could finish in the top 5? Because I got one. I just want to know what you think.
A sleeper that could finish in the top 5?
Yeah.
Man, you might laugh at this, but I'm rolling with DC, man. I'm rolling with Derek Carr. And despite with all the fiasco that happened with Antonio Brown, I still think the Raiders are going to win this game. I think people, are overhyping this Denver defense, man. Denver defense is a decent team, but people are advertising like they're a top 5 defense. But just remember, they still got to learn how to move the ball with these young receivers and an injured Emmanuel Sanders coming in off an ACL injury. Then you got a quarterback that doesn't throw the ball on a high rate. And I like the talent that Oakland has. They heavily improved on the offensive side. You got a rookie running back who has high expectations. You don't have Antonio Brown no more, but you know me, man. I'm high on Tyrell Williams, man. I like what I saw with what he did in the Chargers the last 2 seasons, and I feel like this is going to be this is going to be a huge day for Derek Carr and the Raiders, man. Especially everything that's going on. I think the Raiders, they're going to make a statement game in this game, and I expect Derek Carr to be a huge sleeper.
Yeah, bro. I respect that, but I don't see it, though. I ain't going to lie to you. I don't see it at all. My sleeper today would be Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston can finish in the top 5. Y'all know if y'all tuned into the Nothing But Sports show last week, I said that the Buccaneers are going to make the playoffs. I stand by that. I think the Buccaneers are going to make the playoffs, and I think that Jameis Winston, if he can get up to a good start, he has all the weapons he needs for this team to be successful. The defense should be better. Like I said, at every level they got somebody. They got a Dominican Sue. They got the 3-headed monster at linebacker with Devin White from LSU, Mentor, and I can't think of my man's name. Oh my God, he's a good little linebacker. But they have 3 good linebackers. They got Hargraves in the secondary, who I like a lot since he came into the league from Florida. But Jameis Winston, excuse me, is the missing piece. If Jameis Winston plays up to his potential, this team will be a playoff team. If not, they'll be the same old Bucs. I think Jameis Winston starts his day off today and makes a statement. I think at worst, Jameis Winston does not fall out of the top 10 today. He'll be a top 10 quarterback no matter what. So he's a must start. All right, Keo. Who is your top 5 running backs? Now, I know we did quarterbacks just now for everybody out there, and we didn't mention Patrick Mahomes. And I know he's going against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is at home, and they have a really good defense. But elite guys we don't mention. So Patrick Mahomes is probably the only elite quarterback as far as fantasy is concerned, in my opinion. Even Aaron Rodgers has slid down a little bit to me. He's not. I mean, if you have him, I guess you would start him, but Patrick Mahomes is a must-start every week, no matter who he's playing against. Running back, you got your Saquon Barkley, your Christian McCaffrey, your Alvin Kamara. When we get to start of the week, they can be your start of the week, but we know that you're going to start them. Give us 5 guys that people don't know or right on the outside of the elite company that you should start today because you love their matchup, Keo. Did we lose Keo again?
Oh no, sorry. Okay, I start off at number 5. Number 5. I'm gonna roll with Josh Jacobs at number 5. I think you've seen some flashes with him at in the preseason games, running the ball. I think as far as catching the ball, also they're going to have a lot of plays designed for him, and let him get the second gear, man. I think he would be huge. So I got him at number 5. Number 4, man. This might be a huge reach, but I actually like LaShawn McCoy at number 4. It's a reach, but I got him. I'm gonna take him at number 4, man. In Andy Reid's system. Then on top of that, it's Jacksonville's defense, but you can't count Jacksonville's defense out with that one. Number 3, I'm gonna roll with Leonard Fournette. Against the Chiefs, man. The Chiefs defense, they're kind of have been getting carried by their offense, and I feel like besides Tyrann Mathieu, I feel like they didn't make enough moves to improve their defense. On top of that, they lost Dee Ford. So I got Leonard Fournette at number 3. Number two, I'm rolling with Tevin Coleman at number 2. I think with the Shanahan system, with all the running backs banged up, I think Kyle Shanahan's gonna know how to utilize this guy, and I like him at the number 2 spot. And my number one guy, even though I think he is a stud, but as far as the elites, you got to put Zeke there, Saquon, Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. My number one guy, I'm going with Le'Veon Bell against the Buffalo Bills. I think he's going to have a great showing out party. So that rounds out my top 5.
Okay, my number 5 guy coming in number 5, because I don't agree with that Keo just said. I don't know what Keo was talking about. My number 5 guy is the guy that I've been in love with all fantasy preseason. One of my favorite guys, but I will say after today, I don't know how much I feel about him no more after what I mentioned, and that's Tony Michel. I love him today, but now with the addition of Antonio Brown, I think the Patriots are going to try to throw the ball a little bit too much for my liking. I thought they were going to be more of a running team this year, but now I think they're going to be a passing team, more like the short passes, kind of similar to what LSU was doing last night against Texas. By the way, shout out to LSU, baby. Shout out to Yvonne, baby. Where you at? Shout out to Chris. LSU just smoked those boys. But that's another story for another day. We'll talk about that on the sports show. But I like Tony Michel today against Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers are going to worry about the passing game, and that's what Tony Michel's going to eat them up in the running game. So I like Tony Michel coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I like Chris Carson. Really, I like Chris Carson higher, but I'm going to put him at 4 because I think he's going to have a monster game against the Cincinnati Bengals. I just don't think the Bengals can stop Chris Carson, and I look for him to have a monster game today. Coming in at number 3 for me is Marlon Mack. I think Marlon Mack against San Diego without Derwin James is going to be a problem for the Chargers. The Chargers are banged up in the secondary, banged up on defense. I think that the coach, if they have any hope, is going to be through Marlon Mack, catching the ball in the backfield and running the ball in the backfield. So I like Marlon Mack a whole lot today in today's matchup. Coming in at number 2 is a guy that I feel that people are underestimating. They still knows who I'm talking about, and that's Mark Ingram. I think that Mark Ingram for the Baltimore Ravens going against the Dolphins, who I think could be the worst team in the football, Mark Ingram could make a statement today with Lamar Jackson. I think they should beat the Dolphins. And I think Mark Ingram should go over 100. I think Mark Ingram should have at least a touchdown or two. So I got Mark Ingram coming at number 2. My number 1 guy is who the guy Keel mentioned, and that's Leonard Fournette. I think this game is going to be better than what people think. I think Jacksonville is going to compete. I think Jacksonville is going to make this game interesting. And I would not be surprised if Jacksonville wins this game, even though I said I have to teach win the Super Bowl this year. That is, of course, prior to AB signing with the Patriots. I'm still not changing my pick, but I'm just saying that kind of, changes things up. But I do like Leonard Fournette today. I think Leonard Fournette will have a monster game and keep this game low score. Not say low score, but low score when you think about the Chiefs in the 20s. And the Jaguars will compete. So I got Leonard Fournette coming in number 1 for me, Keo. Now, Keo, is there a sleeper out there that you think can make some noise in fantasy? You gave one from a card, which I thought was crazy, but go ahead.
A sleeper that I think a sleeper that fantasy owners should look out for. I'm going with Latavius Murray at a sleeper for the Saints in this game. If the Saints, which they eventually will, get the goal line opportunities in the red zone, Latavius Murray is gonna get that. It's gonna get some opportunities to bust it in for some fantasy points. So I got him as a sleeper.
Okay. I like Justin Jackson against the Colts. I think Austin Eckler will be good too, but I think Justin Jackson's gonna be. This is gonna remind me of the time when the Broncos all off season was telling you that they were competing between Ronnie Hillman and Monty Ball, and then the first game of the season, No Sean Marino had a monster first game and ended up being the starter for the Broncos that season. I think that Justin Jackson's going to end up being the starter for the Chargers, and this is the game that's going to set it off. So I like Justin Jackson as a sleeper. Keo, who's your top 5 fantasy wide receivers today?
My top 5 wide receivers. Number 5, 5 and 4, they happen to play in the same game. So starting off at number 5, I'm rolling with D.D. Westbrook. No, they don't play each other. I apologize. But D.D. Westbrook is number 5 for Jacksonville. Nick Foles, that's probably going to be his favorite target. I think he's going to be targeted a lot throughout that game. You look at last year, man. D.D. Westbrook, he had a quiet year, man. It was a decent year for him. And this was Blake Bortles throwing him the ball. 66 receptions for over 700 yards. Now you got somebody with Nick Foles who's pretty accurate and, has taken his team to the postseason twice already, plus a Super Bowl ring. I got him at number 5. Number 4, I'm rolling with Jarvis Landry, man. I don't know how Tennessee's game plan as far as coverage goes. Are they going to play Odell one-on-one? Are they going to double team him? If that does happen, you're gonna leave a lot of opportunities for Jarvis Landry. And if that happens, I expect Jarvis to go over 100, at least 7 to 8 receptions. At number 3, I'm rolling with Cooper Kupp at number 3. Hands down, when he's there, that's arguably, his favorite target when he's in that game. And the Rams got a favorable matchup in this game, so I got Cooper Kupp at number 3. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Kenny Golladay, man. I think Kenny Golladay. This team is pretty much under the radar, and I think he is expected to break out this year. He had some flashes last year, especially with the inconsistency Marvin Jones and Golden Tate getting traded. So I got him at number 2. And my number 1 guy, I'm rolling with Josh Gordon at number 1 against the Steelers. This team is loaded. On top of that, you got Antonio Brown that's not gonna be playing. And week 1, man, against the Steelers secondary, Josh Gordon, and through history, he's had his way against Joe Hayden, which I expect to be covering him. So I got him as my top fantasy wide receiver outside of the elite ones that's out there, like Michael Thomas, Odell, Julio, DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay. I respect that. Coming in number 5 for me is a guy that's about to really hit the scene today. And really, I thought about putting him at number 1. That's how I know it's 5 and 1 is a big difference as far as what I'm talking about, but I'm going to go on the low end only because I want to see it first. Here at the quarterback in his top 5, well, I got the receiver, and I'm talking about Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams is about to go crazy. He's about to set the tone for the rest of the season. Mike Williams is about to show the world that he's that guy. And everybody hyped him up coming out of Clemson. Another Clemson wide receiver doing what Clemson wide receivers do. I look at him to have a huge game today against the Indianapolis Colts. Coming in at number 4 for me, this is a little tricky one. But I like Michael Gallup. I just think that against the Giants, they're going to try to stop Amari Cooper. They're going to try to stop Ezekiel Elliott. But at night, it's always the Giants and the Cowboys. Somebody has these big games that you don't even expect to have big games. And I think that my guy Michael Gallup's going to have a monster game today for the Cowboys. And I think he, does his thing. Coming in at number 3 for me, though, is a guy that I don't consider the elite guy, but I do think that people like him, and that's Juju Smith-Schuster. Excuse me, I'm under the weather for y'all that don't know. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think, he'll have a good game because the Patriots will be beating them, and they'll have to try to fight back to catch up in this game. So I'm going with Juju Smith-Schuster coming in at number 3 on my mock board. Coming in number 2, I'm with you, Keel. I got Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry, to me, he's going to do what Jarvis Landry does. I know everybody's hype about Odell going to Cleveland, but we got to remember, Odell and Baker have never played together. Jarvis and Baker have. He's going to feel more comfortable with with Jarvis Landry. I think Jarvis Landry has a really, really good game today at the wide receiver position. But coming in at number 1 for me on today, and I know this guy is considered, really good, but I don't think he's elite. And I think that someday he's going to think about benching him, and that's Mike Evans. Mike Evans, I just told you, I think that Jameis Winston will be one of those guys. I think Mike Evans will have a monster game against the 49ers, so he comes in at number 1 for me. Any sleepers, Keo? We have Keo on the line.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Any sleepers at the wide receiver position real quick?
Oh, yeah. I got Deshaun Jackson as my sleeper. Deshaun Jackson, I see this as a rivalry revenge game for him. And with Wentz having a deep threat that could just beat you over the top, Wentz is going to take some deep shots, man. And Deshaun Jackson back in Philly, I like him, man. I like him as my sleeper, man. I think he could give you some huge points, like 12 to 15. So, Deshaun Jackson, sleeper.
My sleeper is Will Fuller. I think Will Fuller can flex the top 5 today. I think Will Fuller, if he's really healthy like I expect him to be, he's going to be the guy that you're looking at tomorrow night because they're trying to stop DeAndre Hopkins. And if they give Will Fuller one-on-one coverage, I think that could be all bad for the sake. Especially
actually considering putting Will Fuller in my top 5. I just couldn't do it with the 5 that I had. And then on top of that, they had the new addition off of those trades with Kenny Stills also.
Yeah. I just think the connection's not there with Deshaun Watson. That's why I can't put Kenny Stills there just quite yet. I think the connection still got to be better. So I'll just wait on that. And let's see what happens. Let's get the tight ends, Keo, because we still got a good bit left.
All right. Tight ends is going to be rough. So I'm not even going to name the elites like Kittle, Ertz and Kelsey. But I'll start off at number 5. Number 5, they happen to play 5 and 4 once again playing the same game. Number 5, I'm rolling with Delaney Walker. I just don't trust that wide receiving core in Tennessee, so I think Delaney Walker is the most reliable option on that team. So I got him at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with David Njoku, man. I think Njoku, you could expect big things from him, especially, with all the attention on, the 1 and 2 wide receivers in Cleveland. So I got him at number 4. Number 3, number 3, it's tough, but man, number 3, I'm gonna roll with Austin Hooper at number 3 for tight end. No, I changed my mind. I'm rolling with Mark Andrews at number 3 for tight end. Mark Andrews, yes. I think especially with young quarterbacks, they rely on, the tight ends a lot. So I think Mark Andrews is going to have a lot of opportunities to give fantasy owners some points. If you're looking for like at least 6 to 8 or 9 points, I'll take Mark Andrews. Number 2, I gotta take O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard, I think he's pretty much automatic. True had him last year, and he delivered for him until he got injured. And number 1, I think he was my clear-cut number 1 when I saw this matchup in week 1. And he might be, and you'll probably hear it more, he'll be my number 1 for multiple times. But I'm rolling with Jared Cook at number 1. When I found out about this signing, I was like, damn, the Saints are going to be really good, taking some stress off of Michael Thomas. So I got Jared Cook at number 1, and that rounds up my tight ends for week 1.
All right, well, I'm not sold on Jared Cook yet. I'll say all that, but
wow,
that should be interesting.
What?
I don't have him in no league, so you can tell I'm not spreading either. So, all right, but coming in,
the numbers from Cook last year, and that was Derek Carr throwing the ball. Now you get a quarterback that throws on a high rate, a throw-first offense, and you're saying no number 1?
No,
come on, man.
Not me. Y'all like Derek Cook like that, not me. Okay, number 5 for me. I think this game's going to be a blowout. I think that, we're thinking about the other guy, but I'm thinking about this guy. I'm talking about Dallas Goedert. I think that everybody's going to be focused in on Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert is going to be the one that's going to kill him this Sunday against the Redskins. Dallas Goedert, I think, is going to get a touchdown. I think it'll be about 75 yards and a touchdown, which for a tight end, you're looking at some good fantasy points. 7 plus 6, that's 13. 13 to me is a good number at number 5 because a lot of times you get tight ends that give you 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But 13, I think that's the low end for Dallas Goedert. I think he could be higher than that, but I'm going number 5, Dallas Goedert. Coming at number 4, I got Evan Ingram. I think the Cowboys will be blowing the Giants out. Evan Ingram is going to get some cheap catches in this game. I think he'll take the next step as far as tight ends are concerned. And he'll have a pretty good game. I think he's a must-start today. Coming in at number 3, I agree with Keo on this one. And 3 and 2, I should say, come from the same game. Delaney Walker and my man David Njoku. Both of these guys, I think, will have a decent game. I actually have Njoku rated at 3 and Delaney Walker at 2, so let me switch it up. And both guys, I think, will be really good today, and there'll be some guys that try to get in your line. But number one, Keo said it, baby. I just told you how much I like Mike Evans at number 1. I like Jameis Winston as my sleeper at quarterback. And number 1 is O.J. Howard. O.J. Howard will be the best fantasy tight end today. And he'll be the best fantasy tight end today regardless with the elite guys. O.J. Howard's a must start today. I got O.J. Howard coming in number 1. Any sleepers, Keo?
Sam, I see a pattern right now, but I'll get to that later. My sleeper. I'm gonna go with Vernon Davis as my sleeper, man. I think this game against Philly is gonna be a blowout. Jordan Reed, I don't think he's playing. I think he's inactive in this game. So I got Vernon Davis as my sleeper.
Okay, my sleeper today is Kyle Rudolph. I think Kyle Rudolph could have a good game. We've been waiting for Kyle Rudolph to enter the really good, the elite status. And he just never has been. Everybody's always told me he's going to be top 5, top 10. I don't know if he's ever going to reach that, but today I think he'll have a good game against the Atlanta Falcons. All right, Keo. People laugh, but this is important. Defense. Who's your top 5 defenses today?
All right, so starting at number 5. Number 5, I'm rolling with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles going to make some huge plays to help their team out. I think they got some good playmakers on the side, so I got them at number 5. Number 4, I actually have this team starting in the NBS League, and I'm rolling with the Chargers against the Colts. I think the Chargers defense, they got a lot of guys there, man. They got Melvin Ingram. You got Bosa. Then you got the secondary, I think, who's going to make some huge plays for them. So I got them at number 4. Number 3, I'm rolling with the New England Patriots at number 3. I think one thing about the Patriots, they do give up those points, but they give you a lot of takeaways, man, and they'll force a lot of turnovers throughout the game. So I got the Patriots at number 3. Number two, I'm gonna go with the Rams, man. The Rams, they still got a solid defense over there, despite losing Ndamukong Suh and LaMarcus Joyner. They are able to add Eric Weddle and Clay Matthews. This is still an elite defense. So I got them at number 2. And number 1, I'm rolling with the New York Jets at number 1. Against the Bills, I don't think the Bills' offense, they're going to have a hard time moving the ball. They got a running back that people, that they don't know much about. They're starting the young running back Singletary. I don't trust the wide receiving core. I don't trust Josh Allen. And the Bears' defense improved on a high rate, adding C.J. Mosley. So I got the Bears at my number 1 defense to start. The Jets, my bad. Jets.
You didn't say that, okay. Of course, the Bears are available at mile for you, start them no matter what. But coming in number 5 for me, I got to be honest with y'all, man. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I've been on this bandwagon today. I like the Bucs, man. I do, man. I think the Bucs are going to be better than what people think. I think the Bucs are going to, show y'all that they really are a playoff team. But I could be wrong because I was high on the Bengals last year, and they proved me wrong. But I think that was more to do with injuries. But I like the Bucs this year, and they come in at number 5 for me. Coming in at number 4, And really, I should have them higher, but I got the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're going to shut out. Not say shut out, but they're going to blow out the Bengals. The Bengals are going to struggle today. Really, I can put the Seahawks at number one, but I just like a couple of teams more than I like the Seahawks today. But the Seahawks could clearly finish number one, in my opinion, and it would not be a shot. Coming in number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is not even going to be fair. This is going to be a beatdown in Philly today that we're going to look back and say, wow, really? This was no matchup. So I got Philly coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, though, I got the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens is going to do what they do. The Dolphins, I'm just not sold on. I know Fitzpatrick has Fitzpatrick, but I'm not so sold on that yet. He has to show me before I can believe in it. Plus, I just said I think Mark Ingram's going to be up there as far as running. I think Lamar Jackson will be up there as far as running. They'll dictate the pace of this game, and this will be a fast. This game is going to finish first out of all the games this afternoon as far as 12 o'clock start time and Central Time. I think this game finishes first because of the pace in which the Ravens play. They're going to speed the game up by running the football. So I'm coming in at number 2. But number 1, my man Q is going to love this. How about them Cowboys? Oh!
Wow.
I think the Cowboys destroy the Giants tonight. Well, today, this evening. They're going to put 8 in the box. Force Eli Manning to beat him. He won't be able to do it. Those linebackers for Dallas is going to take over this game. Saquon Barkley will not have the game that everybody thinks he's going to have, even though he's number 1 pick. I got the Cowboys coming in number 1, and don't be surprised if they pitch a shutout today. That's how much I like them.
Wow.
All right. Let's get to kickers real quick, Keo.
All right, kickers. I'm not going to spend that much time on it. At 5, I'm going with Dan Bailey at 5. 4, I'm going with Seattle Jason Myers. Number 3, I'm going with my Cowboys Brett Mayer. Number 2, I'm gonna go with Harrison Butker. I think that game is gonna be a low-scoring game. And at number 1, I'm gonna go with Justin Tucker.
Okay, not bad at all. Okay, so I'm gonna go with like Keo said. I'm gonna take much time on it. Coming at number 5, of course, I gotta go with Will Luck, the Saints kicker. I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't see why I wouldn't take Will Luck. It just makes all the sense in the world. And, yeah, I mean, why not go with him? Coming at number 4, I'm with you on this one. I like Britt Maher. I hope I said his name. I just say what I think about the Cowboys. I just think it's just too many good guys, man. I think they have too many good guys who's just going to dominate, and they'll just take over this game. Coming in number 3, Justin Tucker. Theo brought him up. I mean, you really could put him as the elite, but I'm just going to give you the guys. It's kicker. Come on, guys. You got to know what to play the person is going to play. Coming in number 2 for me, though, I'm going to go with Harrison Butker. Harrison Butker versus Jacksonville, because I think that they're going to drive the field, but they're going to have to get field goals at some point in this game because I think Jacksonville will keep them out of the end zone. But coming at number 1, you ready for this? Matt Gay.
Yep.
You're probably like, who is Matt Gay? Well, buddy, he's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker. I got Matt Gay coming in number 1. I think that the Bucs are just going to dominate this game. I think that they're going to just sort of smart out and say they can't keep up. The reason why I have the Texans kicker in there, just so everybody's asking me, is because I think the Texans are going to score touchdowns instead of field goals. And we'll talk about that later. But, any sleepers at kicker?
Sleepers at kickers. A sleeper at kicker. Wow, man.
You don't have to give money. That's not no big deal.
I'll go with Steven Gostowski, man. I think he's one of the most consistent out there. So, and they'll get some field goal opportunities. So, I'm going with Gostowski from the Patriots on the Sunday night game.
Not bad. If I have to say a sleeper, I'll say Adam Vinatieri. So reliable. I think that they may drop the field, but they may not score as much. He does keep some field goals with the coach. So we'll see what happens. All right, Keo. Let's get to the best 5 players to play in the flex position. Who's your best 5 flex position players today?
Off of no particular order, but you know me, man. I'm going with Tyrell Williams at Tyrell Williams at 5, and his value has went up since the Browns' departure. At number 4, I'm going with James White. I think he's a great flex position that people should look out for. James White. 3, Tevin Coleman. I think he's a great flex position also. But if you have an opportunity to start him, you should start him also, possibly at your RB2.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Number 2. Number 2. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with DJ Moore at number 2. If you're able to start him in your flex position, I advise you to start him in your flex position. So I got him at number 2. And number 1, man, I was saving for this guy for the right time, and I'm going with Mike Williams. So Mike Williams, I think he's a great flex position. I actually have him starting at the flex right now. So and he could possibly be a wide receiver too at best. So Mike Williams, he's on the top of my list. And just a player that's outside looking in, I would look out for Duke Johnson also.
Okay. You actually hit the nail in the coffin. That's crazy that you said that. My number 5 is Duke Johnson. It's funny. I got Duke Johnson coming in at number 5. I'm not sure yet. I don't think he's a running back 2 yet because I don't know what Houston's going to do with him. But I do think he's worth the flex play, and that's why I do got him coming in at number 4 for me. 5 for me, I'm sorry. Coming in at number 4 for me is Robbie Anderson. People think I'm joking when I say I like Robbie Anderson. He's the number 1 guy in New York, and I think that against the Bills, he can get some things done, even though the Bills have a good defense. I like Robbie Anderson a lot in this game. He could surprise a few people. Coming in number 3, I'm about to shock some people, but I guess I'm not about to shock y'all because y'all know how I feel about this team. Peyton Barber.
Wow.
That's right. I said Peyton Barber. He's actually older than 100% league. And I think by the end of the day, by next week, we'll see that Peyton Barber's going to be getting picked up in a lot of leagues. So he comes in at number 3 for me. Coming in at number 2 is Will Fuller. Really? I want to put him at 1, but I can't because I got to put another guy at 1. But I like Will Fuller that much. It's really like 1A and 1B because it's a toss-up. If I had both guys, I would kind of like just flip a coin and whatever we landed on, that's who I would start. But I'm going with Will Fuller at number 2 as far as flex plays. I'm starting him in my fantasy football league, nothing but sports league. So no Will Fuller. For my number 1 guy, I mentioned him. I put him at wide receiver, but I know a lot of people are scared. But I'm going to mention him again, and that's Michael Gallup. He should be your flex play. If you got Michael Gallup, you need to play Michael Gallup. He's going to score today. He will score against the Cowboys, against the Giants. So I got Michael Gallup coming in at number 1 as far as flex plays. All right, Keo. Top 5 people that's on the waiver wire that people should pick up right now that's available.
Top 5 top 5 players, people that should pick up on right now.
Right before maybe you pick somebody that gets fast away and is really good moving forward.
One of those players that people should look out for is Deebo Samuel from the Niners. I think he's a emerging wide receiver that Garoppolo's going to be looking out for. I think he is a definite pickup. Despite the plethora of wide receivers, the running backs that's loaded on this team, I think people should go after Darwin Thompson, man. I think he has. I like his upside. Reed is eventually going to use him, so I think he's a great pickup. And fantasy owners are actually going after him right now. So I like him, and I like this guy because I actually drafted this guy, and he's still in a lot of waiver wires in multiple leagues I'm in. And I like the tight end T.J. Hawkinson, man, from Detroit. Matthew Stafford haven't had a tight end in quite some time. And people compare his skill set and his upside to Rob Gronkowski, which is a reach for me, but I think Stafford could be looking for him a lot and could have him as definitely as a high target. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the former Clemson wide receiver, man. I think this guy could do a lot of damage, and that's Hunter Renfrow. I think he just went up on the depth chart, so I think fantasy owners should look out for him. And last but not least, I'm gonna go with Miami's Jakeem Grant from Miami. There's not many weapons that stands out in Miami, but I like Grant as a wide receiver. I think he has a lot of potential, and if you're looking for like at least 10 points for a fantasy owner, put him in the flex position. I'm rolling with Jakeem Grant, man. So those are my waiver pickups as of right now.
Yeah, okay. My top 5. All you have to do is listen to the show. These guys are now picked up on 100% league, and really, that's okay. I get that, but my number 5 guy is a guy that is not owned in no league, and Keo was asking me, who is the guy that you're gonna pick up right before the season starts? And I picked him up in most leagues. I didn't pick him up in the MBS league only because I don't want to drop anybody on my team. I think that my team is how I want it for the most part. But the guy that I really like, are you ready for this, Keo?
Yeah.
What? This guy is Jerron Brown from the Seattle Seahawks. Listen to me. He is going to be a player this year. I don't know if it's today. I don't know if it's tomorrow. But this year, Jerron Brown will be in people's flex plays by the end of the year. Remember, I told y'all this. Jerron Brown will be a good flex play by the time the end of the year comes. DK Metcalf, we'll talk about that in a few. Well, he'll be a bust this year. DK Metcalf won't do anything for you this year. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, coming at number 2 for me is, not 2, 4 is Will Fuller. Will Fuller needs to be owned more leagues. I don't understand why Will Fuller, outside of him getting hurt, he should be owned in more leagues than the league that he's owned in. That's crazy. Will Fuller is a monster. But coming at number 3, I agree with you on this. Tyrell Williams. Come on, man. He's the number 1 option in Oakland. Big receiver should definitely be owned in more leagues. He's the number 1 option. You can't go wrong with that. Now, my top 2 guys, I've mentioned them. And by the end of the year, these 2 guys will be two guys that's probably going to be owned in every league in fantasy or close to. Number two, Michael Gallup. I keep telling people the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. And it's not just because Amari Cooper's on the team and Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott. Michael Gallup's about to emerge into a real bona fide weapon on this offense. I like Michael Gallup that much. Whoever got Michael Gallup in the MBS league, holla at me, man. I need to come see you, man. And I like that kid. But number one is the guy that I've been liking for a long time, and I've been hiding it, and that's Peyton Barber. And I got him in the MBS league.
Wow.
Peyton Barber, I think, is going to be what he was the Devontae Freeman of a couple of years ago. Devontae Freeman was picked up off the waiver wire because nobody really thought that he was the guy. Everybody thought it was going to be Tevin Coleman. But Devontae Freeman ended up being the best running back in fantasy football that year. I'm not saying that, what's it called? My guy's going to be the best guy, Peyton Barber, in fantasy this year, but I will see he's going over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Remember I said that. 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns this year for Peyton Barber. My number one fantasy pickup. Okay, Keo, our favorite time of the show, then we're going to wrap it up. Our stud, and sleeper of the week.
All right, I'm going to start off with the sleeper of the week. My sleeper of the week, I'm rolling with James Washington from the Pittsburgh Steelers for my sleeper of the week. I just feel like with Juju being at that number one, and throughout all the games in preseason, he had a solid game, man. And James Washington, I think he's the clear-cut number 2 wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I got him at my sleeper of the week. Now I'm going to go with my dud of the week. My dud of the week, man, I hate to say this, but, man, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes as my dud of the week. I don't know if you know this. None of the Kansas City players besides LaShawn McCoy is in my top 5 in fantasy. And I think Mahomes, he'll have a decent game, but not the expectations that fantasy owners expect him to have. So I got him as my dud of the week, and you're going against Jacksonville. And then my stud of the week, man, I knew it from the jump, and I can't think of anybody else. And I'm going with Carson Wentz, man, as my stud of the week. I think this game is going to be a blowout. I think Carson Wentz is going to go over 300, 3 touchdowns. And he's going to put on a great showing, man, with all those weapons around him for my stud of the week.
Okay. I gotta update this now. Somebody asked me a question. But my sleeper of the week this week is Michael Gallup. No surprise. I think people are not starting him. I don't see him starting in anybody's leagues right now. Michael Gallup is the sleeper of the week. He should be in somebody's starting lineup. See, I trust him more than I trust Larry Fitzgerald. If I had Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Gallup, I'm starting Michael Gallup. If I had Michael Gallup and a lot of other receivers, I'm starting Michael Gallup. I like Michael Gallup that much this week.
Wow.
Y'all ready for my dud of the week? My dud of the week is the number one pick in everybody's mind. And that's
I knew you were going to say that. When you told me what was going to happen in the Cowboys game, I was like, oh, he's gonna have him as a dud of the week.
He's about to struggle, man. Yesterday, I think that he doesn't go over 100 yards rushing. I think the Cowboys shut that all down. I got him as my dud of the week. He would not give you 20 fantasy points like everybody's thinking he's going to give you this week. So he's my dud of the week. I actually think he'll have less than 15, but that's just me. We'll see. If he has anything less than 15, that's a bust for your number one overall pick. And coming in as my stud of the week, Deshaun Watson. Are you kidding me? This dude, come on, man. Deshaun Watson. I love my Saints, but I picked against my Saints. I think that Deshaun Watson has a monster game, and they beat the New Orleans Saints.
Wow.
Okay, so let's wrap up the show because the games are about to start, Keo. What's happening?
All right, man. So this is our first week of fantasy football. You'll be expecting more questions. Send your questions in. Who should you start or who you shouldn't start. Besides that, man, I'm excited for fantasy football. And the best of luck to everybody, man. Shout out to True holding it down once again. The Startem Sitem show. We officially on now, man. Week 1. Besides that, shout out to everybody that tunes in and supports the show.
No doubt. Shout out to Keo for coming on, man. And I'll say this, man. I know what I tell you on this show, man. If you win, if you don't win, you have nobody but to blame but yourself. But if you do win, thank us, like Drake says, thank us later. Been the Startem Sitem show. Trade Sports, my guy Keo. We out. Peace.
Peace.